Welcome, everyone, to a lovely day. A lovely, lovely day. Self gentleness is the word today. Self gentleness. What does it mean to be gentle with yourself? It means if you are learning something new, which most of us are all day, every day, we are patient with ourselves. You see, the reason why you want to be patient with yourself, I'm going to put you on the spot, Miss Jamea. The reason we want to be gentle with ourselves, gentleness promotes ease and relaxation. Because if you think about this for a moment, if you say, oh man, I've been stuck, I've been blocked, I've been having writer's block, I can't move past it, what's wrong with me? See that right there? You keep building it and building it and building the tension. But if you are gentle with yourself and you say, you know what? I'm going to just ease in this bathtub with some Epsom salt, some baking soda, soften up my skin, and inhale the beautiful fragrance of maybe rose. Oh, who knows? I'm going to just lay here. You know why I'm going to just lay here in this warm water? Because I need a break. Gentleness with yourself will promote ease and relaxation and free you up. Well, of course, it'll move you through anything. But you see, sometimes we think that we're relaxed. Sometimes we think we do. Sometimes we think oh, I'm relaxed. Yeah, but the jaw's still tight. The shoulders are still tight. This is one thing I learned hands-on in TCM school when I was learning acupuncture in school. We were learning Tui Na, which is massage. The instructor would come along, and if she put her hands on your shoulders, that meant, oh, you were wearing your shoulders like earrings. And she would always say, if you are tense, you're transferring your tension to the person you're working on the table. And I was like, how do you know I'm tense? She said, it's all in that posture you carry. And I thought to myself, man, this heifer's only putting her hands on my shoulders. Yeah. So I had to be gentle because that's what she would blast. She would remind me, Angela, let those shoulders sag. I'm like, what? And do you know, to this day, if I'm doing the dishes and I feel my shoulders up on my ears, I'm like, relax, Angela. Relax. Let them just drop the shoulders, honey. You're good. If I'm brushing my teeth, same thing. There was this commercial on TV and she was brushing her hair, and so much, she's just yanking on her hair, and so much hair would come out in the brush. And the dog is standing there just looking at her. Why? Because the dog knows when it gets brushed, it's going to get brushed the same way she's doing it. And there's no gentleness there. So you see, sometimes we walk around, and the way we are speaking to ourselves on the inside is showing up in our bodies on the outside. Man, I can't get this. I can't figure this out. It's so dumb. Like, what? Gentleness with self is required. When you are gentle with yourself in thought, you become gentle with yourself with your words, and you are gentle with yourself in your actions. I'm not just telling you this because we're trying to be cute today. I'm telling you this because it is fact. As within, so without. You can't walk around with that kind of inner tension in your thoughts and expect that your body is going to be at ease. After all, your body is simply doing what you command it to do. right? So let us take that time to practice being gentle with ourselves because we are always learning. We are a work in progress. We're a work in progress. And you see, sometimes it can be challenging because we are busy looking out into the world. We think what we see sometimes does not affect us. But I'm here to tell you today, of course it does. You can only look at bad news for so long until it starts to affect your own well being. And here you are thinking, I'm great, I'm good, I'm skipping through the day. And all of a sudden somebody comes along and listen, you tear them a new one up and down. But you thought you were relaxed. Be gentle with you. The reason you want to be gentle with yourself, when you're gentle with yourself, you open the door for relaxation. And when things are relaxed, when you are relaxed, you're at ease, peace of mind, things begin to flow. Why do they flow? Well, scientifically, they flow because there's no longer a chokehold on the hose. You know, if you're watering your garden and your kids are running around and they're frolicking, bend the hose a little bit and it stops coming through the sprinkler that they're running through. That's what we do. That's what tension is. Tension blocks the flow. This is what it does. That's what it does to us in our bodies physiologically. Think about that. This is why varicose veins happen, because the valve is blocking the way now. It doesn't move freely anymore. And we get the backup. So the evidence is ever before you. So how do we practice self-gentleness? How do we practice it? When you catch yourself saying something like, oh my God, again, Angela, really? You didn't learn? You're still making the same mistake? That is called judgment. And when we judge, what happens to us? We close ourselves off because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be embarrassed. But you see, when you teach, when you learn, gentleness is required. You see, it is like a soothing balm when you project it outward. See, I'm a homeschooling mother. So when my boy looks at me and goes, I don't understand, mother. I do not understand what they mean. And I simply say, let's read it out loud then. And I go over there and I read it out loud. And he says, Mom, that makes so much sense. And I simply say, well, yes, doesn't it? He goes, but I felt so dumb I couldn't even do it. And I was like, you felt dumb? I said, well, where did that come from? He goes, well, I was mad and I just felt stupid because I couldn't get it. It's so easy when you do it. I said, it isn't easy when I do it. I just take my time. I said, where are you rushing going? I'm like, there's no rush. But you see, that's it. We want to rush. As we know, you rush the brush, you waste the paint. You make mistakes when you rush. What's the rush? The destination isn't going anywhere because you're already at the destination. You're already living, so where's there to rush and go? Take your time. Because when you begin to take your time and appreciate what you're learning, and I always go back and I show it to him. When there's that, whatever that thing is there, I bring it into real life. And I say to him, oh, so you do understand. He goes, but yeah, Mom, you just make it easy. I'm like, I don't make it easy. You just gotta look. You just gotta look and take your time. And don't beat yourself up. And sometimes I catch myself saying gentle words. I'm like he's 13. Gentle words is what I'm saying to him. But that's what I'm telling you today. Gentle words means you have to think about those words before you say them. You have to examine what you are telling yourself. You see, we hear this thing, you're your own worst critic. Why should you not be your best? Well, you notice how best and critic don't go together, because the judgment is gone. It doesn't matter what you were doing. If you're writing that script and you have to erase, I write with pencil so I can erase. You have to get yourself in a position where you can hear the download. Or you have to get yourself, Miss McQueen, in the position where you see the design just right there in your mind's eye. Now, I don't see my summer rose. But when you're putting together an event for someone, you've got to be at ease. So when you look into the empty space, you don't see empty space, but it is filled with the image in your mind. But that comes from gentleness. You think we started out knowing? In some aspects we did, because it's in our DNA. But when we are vulnerable, when we are these wee tiny babies, we are being molded and shaped by what? The influence of the person raising us and their perceptions. So now we have to grow up and be able to have our own perceptions. But you see, the previous perceptions are there, they remain, and they drive us. So when you are looking at your life and saying, you know, I don't quite like this way of being anymore, you must exercise all gentleness. Because why? Habits are ingrained. Remember neuroplasticity. A neural pathway has been laid down. This is the science. This is the correspondence. The new way you want to be has to create a new pathway in the brain for you to maintain those actions. As within, so without. The change must occur within you first before you can experience the change on the outside. Because the change on the outside is simply going to confirm. So once you begin practicing self-gentleness, you're going to realize and experience gentleness with other people. Because why? Because you're doing it for yourself on the inside first. Because the way you speak to yourself on the inside, that's how you're going to carry on a conversation on the outside. It is law, not opinion. Practicing self-gentleness. You look at the situation you are in. Look at what you are learning. Take pleasure in the fact that you no longer have to stay where you have been for so many years. And the learning that you do, take pleasure in that learning. You say, oh, I'm learning a new way to be. Oh, yes. Look at all the new and fantastic things that can come from this one new thing that I'm learning. Ooh, I'm excited to see what it brings. That facilitates your gentleness with yourself. And you know what? Even if you go through the day and you become frustrated with anything, you'll catch yourself and you'll say, wait, that doesn't feel good. And you'll stop what you're doing and you will breathe. When you start to breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, when you do that, right away, the autonomic nervous system, you begin to calm it, you had to make the decision as within so that you can sense the calm in your body. I tell you, gentleness with self is key. Because then you don't sit there and look at your analytics. Oh, I should be so much better. I should be so much further ahead. Everybody's surpassing me. I'm intimately acquainted with that one. But when you begin to look at your analytics with a new perspective of, oh my goodness, because what does it do in your analytics? It compares you to who, what? It compares you to your previous numbers. They're not comparing you to somebody else. They're comparing you to you. You can look at those numbers and see where you have grown. And you can see where you need to grow. This is what past behavior is. This is why we examine the self. So you can see, oh, I need a little bit more work there. And because you might need a little bit more work over there, it does not mean you are lacking. It means you are learning. That is what it means. How does one train AI? By allowing AI to see its habits. That's how one trains AI. Well, why? Why is that so important? Because that is how you and I learn, by repetition. So the more time you spend in practice, being gentle with yourself, I'm talking literally speaking here. When you start to do an activity, check yourself. Where is the energy from that activity coming from? Are you frustrated? Are you upset? Oh my God, my car is gross. Why do I never keep it clean? I'm so lazy. You see that? But if you say to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to keep cleaning it until I don't have to clean it anymore. I always keep it tidy. So good. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to dust. Those are two different places. Why does it matter? The next time you go to clean the car, you're not going to be disgusted with yourself and call yourself lazy. You're going to notice, oh my God, it's cleaner than when I started last month. Yay, this is working out. I pick up after myself. These things are important. These things are important. Begin today to practice gentleness with yourself. I know somebody always keeps me in check. My boy always says to me, Mom, you're a little bit cranky today. And I'm like, oh. And you know, when he says that to me, I'm like, really? That's what you're going to tell your mother? But then I take a moment and I realize I've been frustrated in my thoughts. And I'm like, shoot. I've been frustrated in my thoughts. And then I take a minute and I write my list. And I say, okay, I got this to do, that to do. Okay, and I put it together so I can make my way towards calm. He wasn't judging me. He wasn't cussing me out. He was showing me what I was doing. That's what we do. That's why we look in the mirror, to check. And once we check, we say, oh, you know what? I'm going to ease up a little bit today. This is only like day 20. I haven't been doing this that long. Let me keep practicing. I got this in the bag. See, I get better at this every day. Every time I do it, I get better. And how do I know I get better when I do it every day? Because that's the law. The more I practice, the more I'm polarized. This is how we talk to ourselves on a daily basis, especially when we're learning and growing. Gentleness with self is key. Let us take a moment to welcome everyone into the space. Uh, Meep, I see you, baby. I see you here in Twitter. I see you. Thank you for being here, darling. Fan base. Oh, Zola, Yolanda, Miss McQueen, Jamea, Matthias, Lance, Furious, My Melanin, CJ, Debray, and KZ. I see you all here in fan base. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the love, y'all. Now let's look here on YouTube. Who's here? Sit with Scale. I see you. Welcome to the space. YouTube, Synovia, Anot, Wealthy Supreme Rico, Long Live Imanon, David, I see you. The Better Man. Where's my Sonia? My Empress Ella, Tracy. They'll show up. Yeah, it's part of the replay gang. Ms. M, part of the replay gang. So you see, today what I'm saying to you is this. If you are in the gym and you're working on your fitness, do not grudge the fact that you can only push what? 20? 5 pounds? 10 pounds? Who cares? The point of the matter is, you couldn't do that before. And a beautiful thing happens. When your body is acclimatized, the weights will increase because that's what it is. And here's something. When you want to build endurance, lighter weight, longer duration of time. You got to polarize yourself based upon what? What you want to accomplish. You adjust. This is why it is important that we do not judge ourselves. If you can only do 6 push-ups or 2 planks, hey, that's great. You're not always going to stay at 2. You're not always going to stay at 6. You improve with practice. It is inevitable. But if we browbeat ourselves, you know what happens? We stop, and then we stop growing. This is why you judge not, lest ye be judged. Be gentle in your thoughts, especially with yourself, because the way you treat you is the way you treat other people. We think this is common knowledge. We think this is, Angela, that's just understood. If it were understood, when we have conversations, we wouldn't say things like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Like, won't I ever learn? This has been going on in my family for years, and I'm so stupid, I'm doing it too. If it were that easy, it becomes easier the more we practice. And if you catch yourself and point yourself in the right direction, which means I am learning and I'm going to have fun with this learning. Because if learning is not fun, let me tell you something. We don't want to do it. People say to me all the time, oh my God, homeschooling must be so hard. I'm like, no, it really isn't. But are you qualified to teach? Yes. I am mother. So that's my qualification right there. What do you teach? You teach what the child is interested in learning so that learning is pleasurable. When learning is pleasurable, we do it. We stay faithful to learning. That's what happens. We're hardwired for it. But if I say, come, we're going to do trigonometry today, you'll meet with all kinds of resistance. But if we go out for a walk and we come across an interesting shape, oh, Mom, what's that? Why does it take that shape, Mom? Then I get to explain all about the light waves and how they bend. The excitement. Because I'm excited to teach that. And he's excited to learn it. That way, everybody wins. But if we stop and we say things like, I don't know, I'm not qualified. Really? Um, do you see what I'm saying to you with these examples here on a daily basis? We speak to ourselves in a way that would, well, curl our hair, if I dare say it. And we do it, and we don't even know that we're doing it. That's the thing. We do it so much that we don't know. It's just fading in the background right there. Just an open window running. That's why we take stock of what's happening in our lives. As Neville Goddard says, you are the operant power. You. If you are the one being your biggest and best cheerleader and throwing confetti, you'll realize that when you encounter someone who's doing the same thing as you don't say, oh, well, they're better than me. Let me copy them. You don't do that. You know what you do instead? You find some time to relax. And you remind yourself that everybody's ideas flow to them. Mine flow to me too. That's what you tell yourself. I'm not in competition with anybody. You know why I'm not in competition? Because I can create the experience I want to have. And that will teach you to celebrate not only you, but to celebrate the other person. You know why? Because when you celebrate each other, both of you are inspired. And when both of you are inspired, well, many things can happen from there. A collaboration can happen, or more beautiful ideas as an individual can happen. All because what? You were gentle with yourself. And we think it's corny to say, I got this in the bag. But here's a beautiful thing. You can't lie to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind knows you. You can't lie to it. That's why you tell it something that you believe, something that you know. So if you're a writer, if you're a designer, what do you know? You do know that inspiration is all around us. Anytime you have a block of anything, you simply remind yourself, inspiration is all around me. I just need to look for it. Let me see the inspiration. And you go outside. You turn on something, National Geographic if you must. But inspiration is everywhere. That's what you can tell yourself, as opposed to, I'm so bored, I'm not inspired, I don't want to do this. But if you remind yourself that inspiration is everywhere, that is the truth. Cold, hard truth. And because you are reminding yourself that inspiration is everywhere, you'll see it. Thereby, you will be inspired to continue working on whatever it is you are working on. You might not feel as though you are the best, but how many of you are there out of 8 billion people? One of you. Just one. And because you are the only one of you, you are the best. But there's only one of you. You're the best at being you. You can't be George. Even identical twins. There's only one of them. They may have the same face, but their personalities, the way they perceive the world, just one. They are the best at being themselves. So when you tell yourself that you're the best, you can't tell yourself you're the best compared to. You're the best at being you. That is the truth. This is how you're gentle with yourself. You know what? I am the best at being me. I'm going to take my time and create this piece of artwork. Whether it be poetry, a script, artwork, sculpting, it matters not. Take your time and hone your craft. But you see, you cannot hone your craft if you're the one beating yourself up. You can't beat yourself up and practice at the same time. One of those things must be done, but not at the same time. So choose. Choose. And remember that people can only tell you something based upon their own perspective. I can't come here and say, oh my God, your poetry sucks. Wait, what now? Have I lived your experience? Do I know what it took to move you to put those words on the page? No. But if I come along and say, ugh, do you know why I say that? Because I am frustrated with myself that I am not pursuing what I want to do. That's why I can tell you that. That's why anybody who's going to criticize the thing that comes from the very depths of you, if they criticize you, listen, when my bestie says to me, Angela, stay on brand. If I have to tell you this again, I'm going to shake you. When she says something like that to me, she's not coming at me to cut me off at the knees and beat me down. She's saying to me, be consistent. Because in the consistency that you have, you will build what? Confidence in the people who see your work. That's what she's saying to me. Because I know her. She's not jealous of me. I'm not jealous of her. We love each other. So when she speaks to teach me, she doesn't criticize me. She teaches me. That's how you begin to tell the difference between someone who comes along and says, ugh, what are you doing? Versus, you know what? Tweak here a little bit. I see what you're doing, though. I kind of get what you're going with here. I feel you. Tweak it here just a little. You come away from that experience feeling empowered to change. That's why I don't like that word, criticism. A critic judges. But we only ever judge from our own perception. So if somebody doesn't like your work, I'm not talking about mathematics and accounting, because that has a specific formula. I'm talking about your creative work, the thing that comes from the very depths of you. If you encounter someone that does not like your designs, well, know this. It's not you. You're not looking through their eyes. They are looking through their eyes and can only speak from their own perspective. And that's why you don't take it on and beat yourself up with it. Because if they were gentle with themselves, they would have been gentle with you. This is why you don't just let anybody come and say anything to you. When they speak, know that it is the law of correspondence at work. That is being gentle with yourself, because you do not allow someone to speak to you and tear you down and put you in a corner and you stop being your beautiful creative self. And you know exactly who I'm speaking about, because sometimes we have our mothers, sometimes we have our fathers, sometimes we have our grandparents, sometimes we got our kids who will say the most unsavory things. You know, an aunt or an uncle. And they'll say things and you're like, clutch your pearls. And you start to say, well, oh my God, I suck. Wait, what? Be gentle with yourself. And part of being gentle with yourself is recognizing that people can only project what is within themselves. That is a major part of practicing gentleness with self. And the reason why you'll begin to see it more and more is because you recognize it within your own self. that's what I want to tell you today. You see, all these things are thrown around so much. Self love, so on and so forth. But yet, we don't apply them because we've heard it so much. Well, today we're going to hear it again for the first time. Be gentle with yourself in every aspect of your life, which means your thoughts. First and foremost, if you are gentle there with what you think about yourself, you will be gentle everywhere else. This is fact because the law says so. As within, so without, or even causation. You understand what I'm saying to you today? So today,
Yes.
yes, Danny, just know this. It's not corny to be gentle with yourself. When you get that wound cleaner, the saline solution, and you spray it on something, it doesn't sting you. Gentleness is that. Especially when you're learning something new. Begin to celebrate everything that you learn and accomplish. No longer are we going to be, "Oh, I should be so much further ahead in life." According to who? Oh, that's right. According to George. Because you're going to allow George to come and tell you what you've done and what you haven't done and what you've gone through. George doesn't know you. You know you. You know what kind of shackles you had to break through mentally to even get out of bed. So be gentle with you. And you say to yourself, I did it. I did it. I made it through this hour. This is good. Let's do the next one. Oh, that one too. Let's do the next one. You must be your biggest cheerleader. You are the only cheerleader. Your thoughts are the ones that matter most. It is your self-concept. Oh, I'm going to do a live stream on that later. Today. Whew. The way you view yourself. The way you speak to yourself. That determines how you are in the rest of the world. I don't care who stands there and cuss themselves down. You know how they try and give you that motivational speech? You get off your lazy ass and you get this done. What? I'm sorry. That don't work for nobody. Because in that quiet time, you're laying there on your bed and you just want to feel better. You don't replay that. You replay the thing. You know what? You're learning something new. Be gentle with yourself. You got this in the bag. How many days have you been doing this? What, 3? Oh, and you're a master at it already? Come on. You're learning. Be gentle with those thoughts and those words. That is what will see you through any tough situation because it edifies. It does not tear down. The concept of self has to be strong because that is the carbon, that's the print, that is the impression that you recreate from. But yet we want to manifest thousands of dollars. Whenever we look at somebody who's got more money than us, we're like, oh, I wonder what they do to get that drug dealer. What? How can you see what I mean? Gentleness with self. You can't look at them and cut them down and tell me that you speak sweet nothings to yourself. How would I know that? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That is law of correspondence every single time. So today, let me leave you with this. If you are going to speak to yourself, it better be uplifting. Oh, but What if I keep making the same mistake, Angela? Shouldn't I be harsh on myself? Oh, okay, because that works, right? No, it doesn't. If you keep making the same mistake, that is your cue to observe the mistake and say, oh, I don't like that. I would prefer to do this new action instead. And then you start to do the new action every single day until it becomes a habit. A new neural pathway is laid down in the brain. Because it is practice that builds the neural pathway, not criticism. Just so you're aware. So today, as we go about our day, there is something beautiful about you. How can I say that with such boldness? Because the all, look at the principles that govern all of creation. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without. As above, so below. Everything vibrates between two poles, a swing to and fro, creating a rhythm, an ebb and a flow. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause, a projection of the will, masculine, giving life, giving form, feminine. Those principles are balanced. There's no judgment in it. It simply says what you got on the inside is what you'll have on the outside. Well, where's that? I don't know. How am I supposed to believe that? Go plant an acorn. Tell me what you get. An oak tree. Every single time. It will not change. You plant corn, you'll get corn. You plant peas, you get peas. As within, so without. So let your yes be yes and your no be no. Understand it today. Every cause has its effect. You jump up, you gotta come down. This is what it is. Causation. The laws are balanced. They are predictable. They do the same thing the same way every single time. So if you want to model yourself after something, or the all is available. That workshop is coming up on the 30th or the 31st, I believe. Discussing the all. Who is the all? We'll be talking about that. But if you observe the principles, Alan Watts said what? You'll know a man by his habits. But you know the all by its habits. It's got 7 of them. And if you watch them day in and day out and line yourself up with those habits of the all, living in the law, your life must change. It will change because you cannot get around the law and remain the same. It doesn't work that way. The law is it's just so beautiful. Think about this. If you walk around and you say, you know what, I'm going to practice my correspondence today, whatever I think, and it will make you think about this. If you think good things about yourself and you're gentle with you and you open your mouth in an interaction, you can bet your bottom dollar those words that you say will be words that edify the person you speak to. You'll also know that if you argue in your head, whomever you encounter on the outside, you must argue with. It is law. Every cause has its effect. You're arguing. What's the effect? You don't have to have an argument on the outside. So if you practice those things, you will find you're not going to stay in bad behavior at all anymore. The things that you say, oh, I don't like that about me, you'll start to do the new action. And people will say, oh my God, but you're not the same anymore. You're changed. What are you doing differently? You going to church now? Or you got Jesus now? That's the first thing they come and tell you. Think that is, no, it's the law. Where do you think every holy book came from? The law. Every single holy book has been infused with the essence of the law. So it doesn't matter. Whether you want to believe in Jesus or not, irrelevant. Where's the law in the scripture? And it's always there. Why? Seek, and ye shall find. That is the law of causation. You can only find what you're looking for, isn't it? That is what I will leave you with today, because you are a most beautiful people. And you just need to be reminded of that. Be reminded today. If you're going to gaze in that mirror, you better find something nice. You better find something lovely. Because it is there, not because I say so. There's beauty in nature. And who's part of nature? You are and I am. So if there's beauty in nature, well, then there's beauty in you. Oh, but Angela, have you seen the state of the world? If I see you, I see the world. Because it is 8 billion people that make up society. So if each one of us changes to gentleness of self, will the world not change? Well, indeed it will. You don't just pick up the whole plate and empty it in your mouth. No. You take one tasty morsel and you chew it at a time, which means that each person is accountable for their actions. And when you recognize that you walk by way of law and you are gentle with yourself, whomever you encounter, you'll be gentle with them. And when they get that gentleness, they become more gentle with themselves, and now they're gentle with other people. But yet, we look around in society and we go, oh my God, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Because each one of us is jumping in that handbasket. The world changes when we change as individuals. So take your time today. Be gentle with yourself. What if you walk by somebody and you fully entangle in their vibration? Because why? Somebody gonna catch these hands. You got time today. You've just dropped your vibration so you can entangle with foolishness. And then what? Then now you have to claw your way back up from that low place. If you are gentle with yourself, you will begin to realize, oh, my peace of mind is way more important. And you say, oh, low vibration detected. Engage or not. And you keep it moving, because you will realize that in that gentleness with yourself, you only partake of the good, thereby recreating the good around you. This is how we roll. This is how we do it. Yes, Synovia, people do argue with themselves all the time because we're always having a conversation with ourselves. Always. Always. There's more to that statement, but I won't go there yet. You don't engage with nonsense. When you find that you care about yourself and how your day is going, you will choose very wisely. Well, this is what Deuteronomy 28 reminds us of. Today I put before you life and death. Choose. Choose life. Well, you have the option. Yes, you want to catch these hands. I heard a little girl say that, and I was like, what? Catch these hands. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to choose very wisely what to entangle yourself in. It has to be worth your while. What is, I don't know if you've heard of the new artist Benetton. He has that song and he says something about his energy is too expensive. His energy is too expensive. What does that tell you? It tells you that he values each and every interaction. Well, how can he value each and every interaction? Because he values himself. You learn a lot about a person. So today, Realize your value, not because I say you're valuable. No, it's not my opinion. I'm giving you law, and the law says you're valuable. Where does it say that, Angela? The law of correspondence. As within you, so must you experience. So if you're valuable to you, you will encounter things and people that confirm that because they can only mirror back to you. Anywho, I love you all. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3. Miss A, la la, I see you, Miss Ravioli. Sit with Scale, my Melon, Matthias, KZ, Danny Milan, Miss McQueen, Jamea, Yolanda, Zola. And I miss singing Summer Rose. Yes, and Meep, I see you here in Twitter. We say 3, 2, 1. You all know where you can find me when I close things here in Fanbase and Twitter. I'm always over on YouTube at Positively Angela for the remnants. You know, sometimes when you gotta, I learned from Lance, you take your bread and the last bit of gravy on that plate, it's always on YouTube because then I have free hands. Anyhow, I love you all and continue to be gentle with yourself all day, every day. Much love. Fanbase is closed. Aw, Meep, I love you too, baby. Twitter is also closed. YouTube, just you and I. Yeah, you part of the replay gang, Empress Ella. Yes, you are, my beautiful darling. But that's all I'm telling you today, you know. We must, for the love of God and all things, be gentle with ourselves. Be gentle with ourselves. That is one of the most important things we'll learn in this lifetime. Because if we think about it, there's always somebody cussing somebody out. Right? Listen, you can find excitement wherever you go. No, we can. But take these things into account. That your energy is expensive. It is valuable. It is worth more than silver and gold and rubies. Wisdom far outweighs all of them. And what is wisdom? Applied knowledge. Apply what you learn. Even though you think, oh, but I'm not getting it. If you need more clarification, you know where my DMs are. Or you can sit there in the silence and say, teach me. This is the beauty of what we have been given. We get to rise above every single morning. We get to do it. Imagine that. If everybody took up that mantle, that baton, and said, oh, I get to change? You mean I don't have to be at the bottom of the barrel? Can you imagine what kind of world it would be? Oh, that Walker girl. Hello. I've not said your name before. Welcome to the space. Let's go back and see who's here because I know I saw Ty's tidbits scroll past. I don't always have time to scroll, so I always go back in the end. That Walker girl, hello. How did you find us? Beauty Queen, Onika, Empress, Ella, Wealthy Supreme Rico, Queen Marat. Miss M, you are here. Yay. Synovia, I see you. Ty's tidbits. Yeah. Let's see who else. Oh, Anot is here. David is here. The better man. And again, I still haven't seen my beautiful Asonia. Mm-mm. I haven't seen Asonia yet. Haven't seen Miss Tracy yet either. Really? Hey, Miss Ravioli, that Walker girl. You see, because the name is different. See? Fan base. I love fan base. And I got a notification. I think I was there for 2 years now. Yes. Yes, my friends. It is so good to see all of you here. Ah, Wanda. Fine Wine 39. Hey. That has such a nice ring to it. Fine Wine 39. Mm. There you go. I like that, Miss Wanda. But you see today, be gentle with yourself. Always be gentle with yourself. Because we are learning, are we not? We are remembering. We're remembering. And I see the difference. Even with twins, with my dad and his twin brother, they're identical twins. I don't know where they're identical, but they are. People still can't tell them apart and they're 70. And I'm like, really? Really, really? Anywho, I see the difference between them though. Always have. Okay, Frame, I see you. Daddy tends to be a little bit more harsh with himself. Uncle Anthony, on the other hand, he's more laid back. No, don't get it twisted. He'll cuss you out if you push him too far. But he's much more laid back than Daddy is. Much more laid back. That's one of the major differences between the two of them. And so when I interact with both of them, I just sit back and watch how these two people with the same face are completely, they see the world differently. And that's why I tell you, you don't compare yourself to anyone. Oh, believe me, I know this one. Listen, I'm preaching to the choir here. You don't compare yourself. If you must, compare yourself to what you were yesterday. Do you like what you were yesterday? Well, then carry on. If you don't like what you were yesterday, what is the new action that you want to do? See, we think change is hard, but it isn't. You're simply asking yourself by way of the law of polarity, where are you now and where would you like to be? What is the action that you must do? This is what Neville Goddard calls being in that state. When you are in the state comes with particular behaviors that must be done to confirm the state that you say you're in. Mm. Just a friendly reminder, not just to you, to me also. Because we're human. And we see things, we encounter things. But if we remember that the things we encounter, we do have some control over them, well, how so? As within, so without. What you are on the inside is what you'll experience on the outside. And when you encounter it on the outside, don't judge it, don't beat it, because you're fighting a shadow. But, Angela, is that always true? Well, according to law, it is. So what do? If you encounter somebody persnickety outside? Well, were you persnickety on the way there? I tell you, we always have conversations with ourselves. And the tone of that conversation dictates the tone of the experience on the outside. Listen, you can't out-argue me. I've spent a lifetime. So when I tell you I understand the work that it takes to change from an argumentative person, but then when you recognize why, I had to learn this. When you understand why, thank God for besties. When you understand why you became argumentative, the cause, the argumentative behavior is the effect. When you discover the cause, because you trace it back, yeah? I say trace, where's tracing? You trace back all the way as far as you can go. And you'll see the cause of you having to always argue and defend yourself. It comes from the concept you hold of yourself. If you feel I always have to prove my worth, prove my value, I gotta argue because you don't take me seriously, I gotta argue because I'm the smallest in the bunch. Now you begin to see why you argue all the time. Because you just presume that everybody is going to have talk for you. Everybody is going to want you to catch these hands. That's why self-reflection, gentleness with self, is important. Because when you are gentle with yourself, you will go back and you will see the effect. The effect is the behavior that you do. You'll see it. And you'll say, oh my God, I don't want to be that anymore. I see what I am. And for us who are curious, well, how did I get this way? What made me do this? You'll begin to go back and you'll see the cause. And when you see the cause is the interpretation of not being worthy, not being valuable. And when you see that cause, well, how do you change the effect? Change the cause. Somewhere in your life you heard, not even outright. You may not have heard, oh my God, you're useless. You may not have heard that, but actions and something emotional left an impression on your subconscious mind where now you believe yourself to be unworthy, not valuable, always having to defend yourself. And when you see that cause, you change it to what? Well, the law tells me, okay, polarity, I see where I'm at. I'm cranky all the time. Okay, what do I want to be instead? I want to be calmer instead. Well, what can I do to be calmer? You know what? I'm going to start saying nicer things to myself. What nice things am I going to say to myself? Well, every time I feel like that, I'm going to say this instead. I'm going to start to feel this way instead. I want to feel this way instead. And you tell your body, find me that sensation. The same way you can tell your body, fetch me the name of that song that I've forgotten, and it does it. You can do it with a feeling or a sensation. And you start to do it over and over. And the next day you get up, look at that piece of paper where you wrote down where you are and where you want to be. And look at all the action steps you said you would take. I'm speaking kindly to myself. I'm going to do that better. I'm going to do this action. I'm going to do this action. And you keep doing it every single day. And what happens to you? You change the old cause to the new cause. Thereby, you reduce the instances you are cranky and argumentative. That's what you do. Day in and day out. Until what happens? Oh, I remember when you used to be so cranky and argumentative. Hear the words? I remember when. That means you are no longer like that. But you've got to put the work in. What is the work? The work is recognizing where you are and deciding where you want to be. And then write down the first action you will do that takes you towards where you want to be. In order to be more calm, well, I'm going to spend time in meditation, 5 minutes a day if I can, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm going to take more baths, Epsom salts, and baking soda. Why? Because it is important for you to be calm. That's how you make the change. And you get up and you do those things, those actions that enforce calm every day. You must turn your back on arguing. Well, you have to turn your back on it to face something else. Oh, indeed you do. Did I miss saying Emanon this morning? Oh, Lord, hallelujah. Let me read this to y'all. Let me read this. Anot, you see what I'm. I just love you, Anot. I was trying to figure out how I was going to use my vacation for my birthday. The company that I'm going to transfer paid in full by my employer for a week. Now tell me again, the law isn't good. Ain't not, girl, if you don't go and buy yourself a mini-sized birthday cake or however many people you want to have around you kind of birthday cake, and when you take that bite of birthday cake, you can say, taste and see that the law is good. Mm, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Mm, mm, mm. The law is good. And you see, sometimes when you do things and it leaves you speechless, you're not speechless. You're not. Because there's a thank you that cannot be uttered by way of words. There's gratitude that cannot be uttered by way of words. It must be felt in the spirit. And ain't not I know what you're feeling. I know. There's that sense of relief. So now the next time I say to you, bring up that sensation of accomplishment. You see that feeling, Anot, that you got right there that you shared with us this morning? Call up that sensation again. Because then you are living in the now over and over and over again. Oh, let me drop some confetti in there. Let me drop some confetti for you. That's why I love virtual confetti, because ain't nobody got time to clean it up. You see? This is beautiful. And that's why I keep telling you guys, manifestations are not big or small. They matter to you. That's what gives them their value. This is on the same level as manifesting a new car, a new house, a new spouse. They are all on the same level. Why? Because it is you who wants it. That's what gives it its value. Mm. That's what gives it its value. Thank you, Anot, for sharing that beautiful, beautiful exercise with the law today. Because that's what you're doing. You're living in alignment with the law. Listen, he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. What does that mean? It means you are living in the light of the law, and your life becomes a testament to it. Your life experiences now become the effect of the cause of you living in the law. Mm. Y'all got me fired up in here. Hallelujah. You just do. I love it. Because you get to now experience the law firsthand for yourself, and you experience it vicariously. That's what I tell you. When Neville Goddard says the mood already exists, this is what he's talking about. If you want to have a good employer, someone that respects you, remember Anot's testimony because that's a good employer. Hmm? Vicariously. If you've never had a good employer, now you can have the experience vicariously because you know how this testimony made you feel. You see, I tell you, learning the law is all around us. Mm, I love you all. Let us end on that note, on that high, if you will. Let's do that. I love you all, and I look forward. I don't know what time the live is going to be at today, but it will be today. I usually try and aim for 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's where I usually tend to aim for. And we'll be talking about self-concept and why it is critical. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Where's Wealthy Supreme? He shared that too. I love you all. Thank you for being here and sharing your beautiful testimonies. Mm, mm. This is good. This is real good. Oh, let me do this. Hold tight. Now remember, I think I'll incorporate the testimony in there too. I need hands. I need a hand. There you go. Need a hand. On that note, in celebration of Enoch's testimony, that and there are always three instances when we hear that. When someone gives a super chat, when someone becomes a member, or we have a testimony. We hear that beautiful vibration and we allow it to permeate every fiber of our beings. Much love, everyone. Much love.